mayor says, the mayor calls, you know.
See Webb.
City
I think
signed
it'll
up.
be quick.
To adjourn?
I'll get here soon.
To adjourn?
When you ready, Bob? Now?
Oh, yeah, that would freestyle.
At this time, I'll call to order the March 1st, 2016 Joliet City Council meeting. The Honorable Mayor Bob Oderkirk presiding. We will have an invocation by Deacon Carl Hubner from Holy Family Catholic Church, located at 600 Brook Forest Drive in Shorewood, at which time, following the prayer, he will lead us in the pledge. Pastor, or Deacon?
This is a reading from Psalm 86. Hear us, O Lord, and answer us. We are in need of your mercy. Save your servants who trust in you. You are forgiving and you are good, abounding in love to all who trust in you. All nations you have made will worship before you and sing your praises for your marvelous deeds. And let us pray. Lord, we thank you for all of the blessings you have bestowed on us. We pray for peace in our world, in our country, and in our families. We ask that you send your grace and blessings on this city council meeting so that fair decisions will be made for the good of all of the citizens of the city of Joliet. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Begin with roll call. Mayor Oderkirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here?
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here,
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda under Mayor Oderkirk appointments. He's recommending Zachary Fleming be appointed to the Citizens with Disabilities Committee.
So moved.
Second.
The motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak under citizens to be heard on any of the agenda items this evening? Seeing none, next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written with the following change? Remove Council Memo 93-16, an ordinance enacting sump pump regulations.
So moved.
Second?
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council committee reports. First is Land Use Committee report.
Yes, the Land Use Committee met Wednesday, February the 24th in the Planning Conference Room. In attendance was myself along with Councilwoman Coleman and Councilman McFarland. Also in attendance was the mayor, Mr. Jackson, and Alfredo Malesio was in attendance along with our city attorney. We had a short agenda, one item actually, the animal control ordinance. And we spent short time, but a great deal of time, all the time, kind of tweaking it a little more. And I believe that it's ready. It may be some more tweaking done when it's going to come back through committee, prepared to come to the full council after we review it again with the city attorney and some of the residents, concerned residents in the community, and hopefully it should be at the next council meeting.
If I may, I'd like to compliment you, Councilman and Councilman McFarland and Councilwoman Quillman. Thank you for calling that meeting. I know that wasn't the regularly scheduled meeting, but we know we have an issue with the dog ordinance, and everyone has jobs, so to pull away at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, I thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Public Service Committee report.
Public Service met yesterday. The committee consists of Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Hug, reviewed the award of contracts and change orders. As mentioned, 93-16, enacting the sump pump regulation was pulled. The other item that's on the agenda for approval this evening is the award of contract for the Joliet multimodal facility. Just so everybody's notes that we did have an increase of $400,000 due to the delay in the construction of the project. That concludes my report.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to comment. I also attended that meeting, and I brought up on the agenda was a stop sign at Great Ridge and Theodore and Great Ridge and Roth and Theodore. This has been an ongoing problem since 2011, and the traffic engineer and the committee didn't do anything with it, and the traffic engineer is not recommending it as his staff because they didn't have the criteria. Well, I brought all the criteria there yesterday, and just to show everybody, 22 accident reports at that intersection. There is no stop sign there. Thanks to Chief Formals and Chief Benton, I was able to get all that information. I myself pulled up, and with the help of our city attorney, pulled up not only the state statute, but the federal statute as well. And it says a crash problem is indicated by 5 or more reported crashes in a 12-month period that are susceptible to correction by a multi-way stop installation. So, it does not say calendar year. So when the reports were done, they were given as calendar years. But just this year alone, from January to February, there's already been 3 accidents out there. And there was 8 and 11-month period from March 2015 to 2016. There was in 2013, there was 6 and a 9-month period. And 5 and a 12-month period is stated by the state statute and the federal statute. So we more than meet the criteria. But then last night when I got home, there was a citizen that had attended that meeting and sent me an email and said, gave a suggestion, since we are home rule, we can put that stop sign in at any time. And his suggestion was install the multi-way stop on a trial, a year or 2 basis, and maybe also drop the speed limit to 35 miles an hour, which I also suggested at that meeting yesterday, and see if that works in reducing the accident injuries. No one ever got hurt for stopping for a stop sign. So these constituents, I've been dealing with them since 2011. I have talked to several of the council folks. I don't understand why we can't do this. Why? It's a matter of public safety. And not only that, but it's our job to protect our citizens when they come to us for help. This is their neighborhood, they live there. The last traffic study was done in 2013. Why do we have to keep doing traffic studies until somebody gets killed? Is that what we're here for? I mean, I just don't understand this, and I would plead to this council, we don't have to vote on this. Our city manager can put a stop sign up there at any time because we are home rule, and it is an administrative thing, but we've always in the past brought to council for a vote. So I'm asking my fellow council folks to please consider the stop sign, and I've also talked to Councilman Girl, who happens to be in that district. Do you have any comment?
Well, I have to thank you, Councilwoman, for bringing this to our attention. I have not received any calls on this issue. I know that Councilwoman Quillman has been keeping me up to speed with respect to the issue, and I know she's received a number of calls as well. I did not attend the Public Service Committee meeting yesterday, so I don't know if Chief Benton or if Jim Trisna or Jim Hawk or possibly Councilman McFarland, who attended, can give us maybe an update or give me an update as far as why a stop sign is not warranted.
Well, I'll just start really quick, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Trisna. He's got a packet. I just want to clarify, the comment was made that nothing's being done. There was a discrepancy in the original study that was presented to the committee, and I applaud Councilwoman Quillman for digging in deeper. Unfortunately, the staff did not obtain all the documents that basically specified that certain area within the geographic region that we're discussing that took place. So staff did go back and obtain all the police reports and did an analysis, and they came back to committee yesterday. Again, they stand by that there is no four-way stop in the best interest of the city, 'cause sometimes it could be more of a nuisance. I think they mentioned that the railroad tracks are very close to where four-way stop is, so it creates an additional hazard. But I think the recommendations they laid out that we are going to implement currently is going to hopefully, in the meantime, address some of the issues. So I just want to clarify that we're not doing anything. They're increasing the police presence to reduce traffic, speeding. They're increasing the amount of signs in the area that indicate the amount of indicate the actual speed limit. And Jim, you want to kind of take over, just to kind of reiterate, to clarify, one, what we are doing in the meantime. And this issue is coming back to committee because one of the issues that Councilman Hug brought up, if you want to reiterate a little bit on there, is the fact that this is an arterial street. We wanted to see if this was something out of the norm or if the same amount of accidents occur in the same type of arterial streets throughout the city.
Mayor?
Yes.
If I might comment briefly, Jim, before. What I had asked at the end of the committee meeting is that the engineers would compile, maybe along other arterials I suggested, for instance, like Essington or Larkin, similar intersections with smaller residential streets feeding into an arterial, and we can make that comparison to address Councilwoman Quillman's concerns. My position, and I think Jim will explain it in more depth, is that there's certain guidelines that are set by state and federal government, and they're called warrants, meaning is it warranted? If we go outside the guidelines set by the Federal Department of Transportation under the warrants on this, as Jim will explain what that means, we basically have said all the research and information the federal government has done, we're going to push it aside as home rule, which makes us responsible for any accident, increasingly responsible in liability, because we're creating kind of arbitrarily our own warrants, and we don't have the federal warrants or the already established federal warrants to fall back on. So that's what I'm referring to. That's why I wanted a comparison with other similar intersections on arterials throughout the city. And with that, Jim, please.
Mayor, before he starts, I'd
Yes.
like to respond. When I said nothing was done, there was no recommendation or anything from the committee yesterday. That's what I meant by that, okay?
But we did, as a committee, agree, did we not agree to do the recommendations that were on that sheet?
Yes. Councilwoman, we did, before the end of the meeting, put forth the recommendation that staff had put there for us. And what we decided that we would do is watch and see if that made a difference. And then come back to committee with those, and also waiting for the reports that Councilman Hug.
I understand.
So, yeah, but we did
But the
make
way
a
that's interpreted is
recommendation.
nothing's been done. But anyway, second of all, Ridge Road, there's a traffic signal, that's an arterial road. There's a stop sign at County Line Road, that's an arterial road. Illinois Route 59, that's a major arterial road. There's stop signs. There's a stop sign at Bronk Road, River Road, and I took a ride down there. There's a three-way stop at Drowden and Rowden at Theodore. And there's a four-way stop at County Line and Theodore, and it's a 40 mile per hour. So they're already there. And to just tag on what you said, Councilman Hugg, about putting random stop signs. On Reed Street, there are 3 stop signs in a row for no particular reason except, I won't get into it publicly, but not necessary. 3 on Reed Street. So there haven't been any accidents there, though, but there's 3 in a row. So as far as the old adage, precedent has been set, precedent's already been set.
Mayor?
Yes.
I understand the intersections you described, which would be Droughton, which is not only in Councilman Girl's district, it's right on the board of our district, some of these. You have Droughton and Theodore. You've got Ridge and Theodore. These are other arterials. These are arterials, or what's the feeder term, Jim?
Like major collector.
Major collector intersections. The intersection in question that the engineers had suggested we try these other things for was not another arterial or a major collector. It was a residential. So it's not the same type of intersection. That's why I wanted the engineer to follow up with like intersections elsewhere where an arterial and a small residential intersects. The ones you mentioned are arterials and major collectors intersecting with each other. So that's a different set of warrants by the federal standards.
Well, you tell that to the people that live there.
Jim Trisman?
Sure. First of all, as far as the accident counts, there was a year there was 5 accidents, but the accidents, you have to evaluate the accidents, which our traffic engineer did, and one of the accidents was not an accident because of not having an all-way stop. You got to evaluate. If there's an accident where it's just a car driving randomly off the road, that's not an accident that would be that would be altered or not that you would avoid if you had an all-way stop sign up there. So that's the reason we said it didn't meet warrants, because we did not have 5 accidents that could be, if you had an all-way stop, that could be avoided. That's the first thing. As far as our recommendations, we did recommend completing a speed limit signage replacement program on Theodore between Ridge and Bronx, and basically installing larger signs out there, and that's one of our recommendations, one of the items that we will be doing within the next couple weeks here. We'll also install intersection warning signs, so signs showing an intersection ahead. You see that on a lot of roadways, especially county highways, for example. So we're going to do that, and so people can see there's an intersection ahead. And we're also going to go in the warmer weather. We're going to do a little bit of additional pavement marking to let people acknowledge these intersections that are coming ahead. And we're also working with the police department, and they're going to assist with a little bit additional speed enforcement out there. And the last thing is Councilman Hugg indicated, he requested our traffic engineer is going to look at, particularly I guess Black Road would be a pretty comparable situation, or maybe Essendon too, where Black is a better example, like say from Broadway Street heading west. There's traffic signals at some of the major intersections, but we do not have, that I can think of, a single all-way stop on Black, and there are residential streets all over there. So we'll look at what kind of accident history we have in that area also.
The speed limit on Black Road, though, is 35 miles per hour.
I guess the question is, the committee said they're going to make these changes and reassess. Councilwoman, are you asking them to push this through with a recommendation and we make an up or down vote, or do you want them to reassess as they're asking?
Well, the reassessment is just going to be the same because it's not wanted, okay? So it doesn't say calendar year in the state statute or the Fed statute. And I pointed out several accidents within a 12-month period, within an 8-month period, within a 9-month period. So, I think another traffic study is just a waste of time. So it's on this council and it's on the people that don't want this, but I did my due diligence to try to protect our citizens in that area. So if there's another bad accident, it's on you, not me.
Well, I'll ask the committee, if you can, at your next meeting, make a recommendation, we'll bring it forward to the council and we'll vote on the issue.
I think maybe we get some information back.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of minutes, it's recommended the minutes of the combined council meeting held on February 16, 2016 stand approved as recorded. And Council Memo 89-16, cost sharing for PACE bus route to Centerpoint budget amendment. It's recommended the cost sharing of Centerpoint PACE bus route for 2016 be approved contingent upon Centerpoint's matching contribution for the service. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
So moved. Second.
Mayor?
Yes.
Last night, Councilman McFarland asked what the ridership was for the Pace bus route down to Center Point, and I got a reply from Pace today that last year was 2,325 occupants rode that bus. So just wanted to provide that update.
Thank you.
It was actually Councilman Mudrin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Happy, I heard it.
It was motion seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 91-16, an issuance of a Class C liquor license at 1005 to 1007 Essington Road, Liquortown. It's recommended AVN Liquor Corporation, Inc., doing business as Liquortown, be issued a Class C liquor license.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under ordinances and resolutions, ordinances, Council Memo 93-16, which was removed from the council agenda. Council Memo 94-16, an ordinance amending Chapter 20 nuisances generally of the municipal code. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved. Second.
It's been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 95-16, ordinances approving a preliminary plat, final plat, and recording plat for Water's Edge subdivision and planned unit development. It's recommended said ordinances be adopted.
So moved. Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
A quick question for Mr. Chow. I got a question and just a time frame on this, once the approvals are in and the funding. If you could start from when you'll start seeing demolition. I know there's still, most of the places are boarded up now, but.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor Odeker, council member. The answer to your question, as far as relocation of all the families, we are probably about 98% done right now. After this week, we'll probably have maybe less than 5 families remaining. So after the relocation, we're gonna abate, asbestos abatement is gonna follow, and that'll take another 30 days. So demolition, we're anticipating to start sometime in June. So with demolition, construction period about 12 to 14 months, we're looking at maybe fall of 2017.
Thank you.
Okay?
Councilman McFarland.
Aye. Yes.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 96-16, an ordinance approving a vacation of a 16.5-foot by 145.04-foot portion of an east-west alley located at 212 North Chicago Street. Jim Rolfe is here and would like to say a few words regarding this memo.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to make a few remarks tonight, and I promise I won't go longer than the allotted 30 minutes. Actually, what you've just acted on just a minute or two ago is a very important part of our community as well. So with the Water's Edge approval that you just made, that's going to be a huge plus for our community. You've also done some and taken some actions recently, the intergovernmental agreement with the county. That's huge. The approval of the city center plan is another important step that you've approved, which is very important to downtown Joliet. Those of you who know me know that I've spoken many times about the city of Joliet being the capital of Will County. And those steps are improving what this capital city will be all about in the future. What you're about to act on and hopefully approve is an action that will allow First Midwest, who has its roots in downtown Joliet since 1940, to continue to be a part of downtown. A commitment we made when we sold our property to the county with the vision for the courthouse that you all have embraced. We're in this together, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of those incremental steps because they're all intertwined, and I don't think everybody understands just how intertwined they are and how important they are to the downtown and the city of Joliet. So I just wanted to thank you for acting on this issue tonight, but also recognize and thank you for the steps that you've taken in advance of this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks also for the commitment First Midwest Bank has made to our downtown and your personal commitment with the City Center Partnership.
Is there a motion to approve said ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
With pleasure, aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Again, I thank First Midwest, that you can add to the list of good things that came out of Joliet, as you pointed out. What was it originally called, Jim? Union National, I couldn't remember. And that goes back to the 1940s, and now it's one of the most successful regional banking institutions in the Midwest. How many sites do they have?
Over 100.
Yes. So again, thank you for the commitment to staying downtown. You could have gone a lot of places, so aye.
1940s, you started out as a teller back then, didn't you, Jim? Or, yeah, that's good.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I understand, Councilman, you were his much older supervisor when he first came in.
Right.
Council Memo 97-16 is an ordinance approving a vacation of a 50-foot by 280.6-foot portion of O'Neill Street for City of Joliet Pumping Station. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 98-16, a resolution authorizing a substantial amendment to the 2015 through 2019 Consolidated Plan. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 99-16, a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with PACE. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 100-16, a resolution appropriating additional funds for the West Bevan Drive roadway improvements project, Douglas Street to North End. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 101-16, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement number 16-02 with the Forest Preserve District of Will County concerning a public utility license agreement for the Bethel Drive, Douglas Street, Kungs Way, Walsh Way Water Main Improvement Project 2016. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 102-16, a resolution authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement for Police Department staffing study. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Mayor, just for the public, could you explain to them why we need a study for this, what it entails?
Certainly. Part of our, it's really an efficiency review of the department. We're looking to deploy our limited resources in the best way possible as we have stand for service on the police department at certain hours of the day, certain days of the week. We want to make sure that we have as many officers as possible on duty at those service calls in demand so that, we can make sure we respond as fast as possible to those emergency calls. And so this will take a look at a lot of the statistical history of the department, all of the calls that come in, times of day, day of the week, what kind of calls they are, and how many officers typically respond so that we can deploy our resources as efficiently as possible.
Thank you. I hope it shows that we need more policemen as well, because I think we do, without a study. I'll vote aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under award of contracts, Council Memo 103-16, award a contract for the Multimodal Regional Transportation Center Bid Package 2B Heritage Corridor Platform 3A Train Station, and Council Memo 104-16, award a contract for the Bethel Drive, Douglas Street, Kungs Way, Walsh Way Water Main Improvement Project 2016. It's recommended Council Memos 103 and 104-16 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded to be approved. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager report.
Thank you. I just want to explain why we ask you to remove the ordinance enacting sump pump regulations. This ordinance, as it was prepared, was dealing with the issues from the building department's perspective only. And we found out that the utilities division also has some regulations regarding sump pump changes. So we'll be back in a little over a month with to incorporate both of them together. That's all I have.
New business, not for final action or recommendation.
Councilman.
Just briefly, it's more informative for the residents out in my district and Councilman Girl's district. Myself and Councilman Girl have been discussing probably for about a year or so. There's been more people asking for some, some expanded PACE presence far west, especially for the younger folks, for their kids that need to get around. And myself and Councilman Girl, I want to thank you, and I'm sure you'll keep us posted. City Manager Jim Hock told us that him and Steve Jones are going to be working with PACE to see if that's possible. So we are working on it, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew.
I have one comment. Jim, now that we are on the second to the last phase of the Joliet multimodal facility, can we have staff start looking at what we're going to do at 10 South Chicago Street? I know we're currently using it for staging for some of our contractors, but maybe in the next few months, see what our long-term plan is with that building.
We could certainly do that, but we're a year or two away from really deliberating, what to do with the property. Originally, yeah, it could be torn down and added as parking, but it wouldn't be the most efficient use there because there is some parking available. But yeah,
I understand that we're talking a year, maybe a year and a half away, but I think we need to start planning now, especially when we're robbing Peter to pay Paul in terms of funding. I think they were going to get back to us what the rents were currently what we're collecting on that building. The city paid way over than we should have for it. So I think, in the meantime, I think the question came up, what are we gonna do with the building since the plans have changed? Is it gonna be a parking lot? Are we gonna sell the building? Are we
Right.
gonna keep it? So just something maybe in the next 6 months, if we could at least look to see what the ideas you guys have with that facility.
Certainly.
If I can add to that, it's kind of coincidental. I went over to that building this afternoon. There's a contracting firm that's in there that told me that they're leaving in 3 weeks, and there's another construction firm slated to come in. I would assume that's a firm that's going to be doing some of the construction on the multimodal project. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So there, I think part of the building is IDOT is using parts for construction.
T.Y. Lin, the engineering firm that IDOT hired to coordinate the entire project, has some offices in there, and our engineers, and also the contractor's engineers. So, yes, you're right, at the end of the project, there won't be any occupancy in the building, and so we need to decide what to do, so.
But instead of waiting till later, I mean, look
Right.
at Krabby Gills. We've been sitting on that for what, 7, 8 years? I think we need to start planning now instead of having another vacant building.
Right.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
my question is, since Councilman McFarland brought it up, I understand we've had some people connected, some companies connected to the multimodal who used it. So did that save us money if they had brought their own trailers instead?
Right.
Do we know how much it saved in real dollars?
We do. They included in their bid package a cost to bring in that trailer, and we said, no, we'll give you an office space for that same cost. And then you don't have to bring in a trailer on site. And
Okay,
so.
so we do have a hard
So we
number.
are getting rent from, money back from all of those contractors as part of the project.
I'd be curious to see the total hard number
Sure.
when you get a chance. No hurry.
Okay?
Thanks.
Next, we have public comments. First is Robert Webb.
On behalf of reasonable thinking human beings among people of the state of Illinois, particularly here in the county of Will, I extend to this council our greetings of peace and friendship. Over the past couple of years, I've been eyewitnessing some particular activity among a particular group of individuals who have been relocated here to our community, who, as opposed to spending time trying to figure out how to set up limited liability companies, limited liability corporations, and partnerships to set up advertisement agencies so that they can put in bids for contracts to get paid to do publicity for various products. And been engaged in systematically trashing up the neighborhoods with different type of items. Not only did this particular group of individuals, unidentified street fraternity, going to cemeteries, churchyards, alleys, parkways. To counter this particular behavior, I, along with several of my fellow scientists, have revamped the former Neighborhood Youth Corps and the improperly dissolved Joliet Area Gang Reduction Task Force under the name of the Joliet Will County City Civic Youth League Program. The purpose of which the corporation is organized is to promote and encourage charitable, civic, educational, economic development, legal research, political empowerment, recreational, social activities among the historically underutilized and economically disadvantaged youth, particularly those who have been culturally deprived and poverty-stricken, of the Joliet Will County area community, which are designed to focus those youth's time, energy, and intelligence in the directions of striving to achieve total social, economic, political, and legal equality and fulfillment of their federal citizenship rights under the laws and the Constitution of the United States of America, and fulfillment of their state citizenship rights under the laws and the Constitution of the state of Illinois. The purpose of the Joliet Will County Inner City Civic Youth League will be to raise funds to provide cultural, political, and legal, educational, environmental, recreational, social, scientific, technical, and vocational training opportunities to afford the historically underutilized youth with essential information to raise their social consciousness to a higher level of economic and political activity for improving their life chances and prospects, and that of their future generations, and to deter them from becoming entrapped in antisocial and counterproductive behavioral practices. This particular project is going to be based upon the foundations of the Ten Commandments that's written in the Holy Scriptures of the Bible to ensure that this program will manifest itself. March 21st, we're going to be seeking to access the usage of this room for the first meeting of this organization in preparation for our major activity, which is going to be environmental scenery cleanup detail, which is going to be one of the main activities of this organization in preparation for the annual World Observance of Earth Day, which is April 22nd and 24th. See this organization as a way to provide those youth, particularly those who have been transferred here to our community via U.S. Department of HUD Section 8 program up out of Chicago, with an opportunity to make them feel so that they're part of this community by having something that they can meaningfully and gainfully, do with their time, and also to deter them from becoming involved in these particular unidentified street fraternities who have lost focus on it's better to get paid to do publicity for some particular item as opposed to just trashing up the community.
Thank you. Good luck.
Christopher Pedersen.
Statesman, I.B. Crow, Christopher L. Person, 702 Vine Street, Joliet, Illinois, 605. To this distinguished body of councilmen and councilwomen, I want to address full council, legal counsel, and Chief City Manager James Hogan in the direction of the great city of Joliet, City of Champions, Crossroads, America, and the legal representation I feel each employee that the First Midwest Bank has in our city and the county will, state of Illinois. I want to see our city take into consideration that when the 2017 Will County Courthouse is built, North Chicago Street, City of Joliet, City of Champions, Crossroads, America, County Will, State of Illinois, City of Joliet is going to be held accountable by the State of Illinois Accountability Commission, the City of Joliet, City of Champions, County Will, State of Illinois, if I could have council approve for administration.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizens to be heard? Next is mayor and council comments.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to take this opportunity. I think we had some major movement in terms of public safety over the past week or so. So I'd like to thank the JPD and the task force for Operation King Kong. It was just truly awesome to see them at work and making our streets safer. So thank you. Hats off to your department, sir.
Yeah, I too want to thank the Joliet Police Department and Chief Benton and all your men and the coordination efforts that you did with other agencies. As Councilwoman Gavin said, as far as keeping our streets safe. So good work, and please pass that along to your people. Thank you.
I would just echo those comments. Chief Benton, fantastic job on that, and keep up the good work.
No comments.
Well, on a positive note, I got some from my coworkers today. They were very happy with the streets this morning at 5 a.m., that they were all salted and no one had to slip and slide on their way to work. And also compliments the Joliet Police Department on their big sting.
Just compliments to the chief and the police department. And, many times we get complaints and where there's a drug house or there's some supposedly illegal activity going on, and they turn it in and then nothing happens and people are frustrated. But as I think we pointed out in this case, is it took almost 2 years to get this operation done. So even though it may not appear things are getting done, there's many things that just can't be shared with the public that are being done. So congratulations.
Yeah, I agree. Congratulations, Chief, and thank you, Jim Trisna, for the job the street department's done all winter. Hopefully, we're done with you, but I think there might be a couple more incidents. A couple other things. I'd like to thank the Joliet Junior College and Dr. Daniels. I was at the junior college last week and gave the State of the City address again. It was a great forum. It was a lot of young faces there, a different crowd than I normally speak to. So Thank you to junior college. It was a great job. The Joliet Cyborgs invited me, along with members from the Board of Education, to unveil their 2016 robot, which is going to be going into competition. It's really impressive what these young people did in a very short period of time. I'll be frank with you, most of it was over my head. So, new generation is pretty smart. Congratulations and good luck. Joliet West, students at Joliet West put on a breast cancer awareness walk last week. Congratulations and great job. And finally, again, Joliet West brought home in the last 2 weeks their second state title. The girls bowling team from Joliet West were our state champions, so congratulations to them. I hope the bowling team and the cheerleading squad are in front of this council in the near future so we can honor them. I did speak at the assembly, and I basically gave a challenge to the boys now. It's time for them to step up and pull their weight over there. But good job, girls, and congratulations to all the coaches and the parents involved. Thank you. That's all I have.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
I want to stay.
Do you own or have access to a